can only have the best, right? So thanks so much for joining us. This is another segment of the Power Play. You can listen on iHeartRadio.com. Today, we have a very, very special guest. This person didn't just enter the music industry, she built her own edge from the ground up, promoting shows and representing some of the most influential voices in hip hop, R&B, and music in general. She understands the game from every single angle. Now at Cara Lewis Group, tailwinds, amazing. She's not just booking talent, she's shaping culture, building careers, and redefining what it means to move with power in the live music space. Ashley Ventura, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
You're so welcome. So you started as a concert promoter. Let's talk about the origin because obviously, people can Google you, they can look you up, but for those that don't know who you are, let's unpack that a little bit.
Sure. I started promoting shows in Albany, New York. That's my hometown. After I had gone to college for a year in Pennsylvania, I came back to Albany, and this was in 2011. I might be dating myself. But I started in the metal and the rock industry. When I was younger, I was really into the rock music. I really didn't listen to a lot of hip hop and rap, to be honest with you. And I started throwing local shows in Albany at local biker bar
Well, I
type
tell you what,
venues.
we have that in common too. Trust me, I like
Yeah.
straight edge hardcore.
Okay, let's
So
go.
let's
August
go.
Burns Red, Straight from the Path. Like,
Minor
yes.
threat.
Okay, let's go.
Uh-huh.
I love that. I
Yep.
love that. Yeah. So I would have to say the metal industry really shaped me. Um, in this industry. And I started throwing shows just, as a fun hobby, really. Like, for some reason, I became the point person, the go-to person in the local industry that everybody wanted me to throw shows for these local bands. And then I started booking regional bands, like some smaller independent agents would reach out to me and ask me to book their $200, $400 bands. And
Oh
I would
wow.
put some local artists on there and pack out rooms. We would do 200 to 500 tickets. I booked over 400 concerts in the upstate New York region, also Poughkeepsie area, Rochester, over the course of 6 to 7 years, and
Wow.
really just kind of teaching myself, really. I had college interns every semester, college interns that had to do an internship for college credit. So I had them 15 to 20 hours a week, constantly working on my social media pages, helping me run my shows, and really just
Wow.
built a business up. That was started as a hobby. I was like, oh, I can make money off this. Let me try it.
For the
And
love
yeah, I
of
learned from there.
music.
I got hip hop as well. So
Yes, for the love of music. That is just so incredible. Just to see organically what you love and you're passionate about, and then it becomes something, right? And that's really the American dream. That's what people want. That's that piece of the pie that they want, right? Is be able to just do what they love because it doesn't feel like work. So talk about that a little bit. When you work across hip hop, R&B, coming into new grounds, and then other genres and different things, what separates artists who tour versus artists who build careers? What do you notice? Unpack that a little bit.
can you repeat the question one more time? An
Yeah,
artist that
sure.
the difference between an artist that tours and what else?
And an artist that actually builds a sustainable career. What do you notice? Because I'll give this example. I remember one time I was at Rock the Bells. It was some years ago. Obviously, I'm dating myself now, and and YG happened to have a much smaller crowd at the time, and then Tyler, the creator at the festival, had a huge crowd. So there's a big difference in like fan building and career building, radio versus touring and all sorts of stuff. Kind of unpack that a little bit. Like what's the differentiator?
So I'm in the touring industry, which is building your hard ticket business, right? That's building up your value as an artist. Now, there are thousands of artists that are trying to get booked every day. What differentiates you from other artists who get booked? It's your hard ticket value along with, the success of your music. They all have to go hand in hand. So when an artist has a big moment in music, that is the time to go out and start building your touring business. You need to touch every market, sell those hard tickets, get those fans off the couch of whatever night of the week it is just to come see you. Now, that is probably one of the hardest things an artist can do when building their business for the long term, but that is the foundation. That is the foundation, like Drake and Taylor Swift and those artists that can go and tour every year and make millions and millions of dollars because they didn't skip steps. They went out and they built their business step by step, and grew that, and that is for the long term. Touring is supposed to be a foundational piece for your business to make that long term money out of music.
Amazing. So, and hard ticket sales, you're talking about that, you're giving advice, and this is the power play. So, that's a power play for artists. If you want to level up, get those hard ticket sales up, right? The proof's in the pudding there. Like, that's what labels care about. That's what managers care about. Artists feel like, oh, I need a manager to be something. No, you need a career to manage. And those hard ticket sales explain sustainability, they explain career growth, different things to that degree. Talk about what a new artist overlooks essentially. Like what do you notice like when it comes to like an artist that wants to get into this space, like what are the do's and the don'ts?
Well, you kind of touched on it, and what you just said is like getting a manager and agent, they think that that's the magic answer, right?
Mhm.
It's you need to provide value to get value, just like with anything in the industry. So, my job as an agent is not to ignite that fire or build that fire, it's to add gasoline to an already lit fire. So, a lot of misconceptions that these artists think is like, oh, I have a manager now, I have an agent now, they're going to blow me up. No, I'm here to double your bag that you're already making. I'm here to be the cherry on top, to add that gasoline to the fire, because um, at the end of the day, this is a business. Who's there's so many artists, like you need to provide that value. Who's going to make me the most money? Who's going to make me money? But you have to continue putting in that hard work. And it's not just up on the agent. It's not just on the manager. It's on the artist. We're here because of you. There is no business without the artist.
Really important things there as far as like for the artist and like igniting that. And obviously a lot of major names trust you, right? How do you balance being a deal maker versus protecting the artist's vision long term, right? Because some people, like, on an integrity level, they're just going after the bag. Like, how do you protect your artist's long-term vision versus being a deal maker?
I protect the long-term vision by always hearing out what the artist's goals are, and we work together as a partner. I don't like to just be a hired gun. I want to really know the authenticity of my artist and what they want and goals for their career, and we figure out an action plan together. Now, not every artist career is the same, or they don't necessarily take the same steps, but to protect that vision is to properly strategize and take the proper steps, along with analyzing their music and their brand, and making sure all the puzzle pieces fit together. That includes maybe not working with some promoters, working with different ones, making sure I put them on the proper festivals that align with their brands, the proper support tours that align with their music. It's not just going out and getting them any bookings, it's getting the right bookings for these artists. So it's protecting their brand as well as building their business, and also aligning them with the right things that help them elevate.
Yeah, you have to really care, and you're uniquely positioned because you love what you do. You've been doing it for a long time, so you like carry that with you, and that's another thing that I just noticed within another interview. A very successful music manager was that like he wanted to know the artist. Like some of them were even like, oh, I know their family. You know what I mean? It's not like, okay, buddy, buddy, but it's like them enough, like their processes, what I mean? You want to know into the psyche and the mind of that person, like, because the person is the business of the music, the person is the brand. So you have to like in a way know them and know their vision, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's my favorite part of the job is, the artists that are creating this music. Why wouldn't you want to get to know them? Why wouldn't you want to be able to speak to them and be real with them? I talk about that a lot. This industry is a relationship game. And a lot of people, I feel like in this industry, neglect that relationship with their artists because they're scared, or they don't like conflict, or they're afraid to be transparent. And for me, sometimes does that bite me in the ass? Sure. But more times than not, my authenticity and my willingness to be real and have a connection with my artist, I win in the long term with
Yeah,
that,
and that's just crazy. You took the words out of my mind. I was about to say, but you're looked at as authentic. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You're not looked at as a yes person. You're telling
And
the
in rap,
truth.
and hip hop, that matters the most.
Yes, exactly. And people respect you for that. So that's awesome. Now, what moment in your career did you feel like you had to bet on yourself before anyone else did, and how did that pay off for you?
Man, I feel like that every day. I don't think that there was one moment where I feel like I had to bet on myself more. Every day I have to wake up and bet on myself.
Wow.
In this industry, it's very, very cutthroat. There's a lot of competition. There's always people trying to steal my artists. There's always people coming for my spot. You know what I mean? I always have to wake up every day. I almost like to say I have to be delusional in some sense that I'm already the best. You have to believe in yourself so much and bet on yourself every day in order to achieve the level of success that you're looking for. So I never allow myself to lose that hunger to want to be the best. And
That's right.
sometimes you have to wake up every day, look yourself in the mirror and say, I am, you
That's
know?
right. And I love that. And another one, another gem, another power play there. That's another thing that we hear consistently in these interviews is from very successful people is having carrying a level of delusion. Now don't carry the level of delusion to the point where like you don't do the work, you know what I mean? Or like XYZ, but you have to have
The balance
um
of reality and delusion you kind of need to live in.
an
So
you have an unwavering faith and belief that you are the best, you're going to be the best, and that's what's going to drive you to, keep shooting those shots to be the best that you can be, to, go out of your way to do things, to, figure out processes, maybe even like, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness if you have to, like, take initiative, and you never know where that's going to get you. So there's another power play for you guys. So you joined Cara Lewis Group, powerhouse in live music.
yes.
Tailwinds, right? Eminem, Russ, the biggest acts in the world. Talk about that a little bit. How did that happen, and what did that feel like? Was it surreal?
Man, that was a real full circle moment. I even told Kara this in my interview. I've been emailing that woman since I was 19 years old. I'm now 34, and she had not responded to one single email. Actually, like the first time I had a real conversation with her was my interview. And I basically was offered the job pretty much directly after that interview. And it was just like a full circle surreal moment. I mean, Kara's the first agent in rap to book a rap tour. She's one of the most highly respected names, and she's also a female. So I've really looked up to her for quite some time. And to not only be able to speak and learn from her, but to like be one of the first agents with a roster to come over and work for her was a real honor and a just real affirming moment for me that I'm on the right path.
That's right. Yes, I have emailed her as well, and I have not got a response. So,
She,
so that,
she's
so
a hard
that,
woman to get a hold of. She's a very busy woman, that's for
yeah,
sure.
and so that says something about you is that you carry a level of persistence. And so, that's another thing. There's another power play there. Essentially, if you want to level up persistence, right? And so like I think that for you was the thing for her that made her feel like you're the one, right? It's like this girl followed up with me from 19 to XYZ. She has
Yeah, and it's
game.
not that
She's
she didn't notice. She definitely had noticed me. You know what I mean? There's a few clients that came for her from her, and she had been keeping an eye on me. So she definitely had noticed my come up, and it just, it's proof and to people out there trying to make their way in the industry is just consistency. You know what I mean? Consistency and hard work. Just put your head down, focus and work. And I didn't even know that working for Cara Lewis was one of my bucket list items on my career I wanted to knock off, but I did, and there's more beyond that as well. So
amazing, Ashley. That's right. So, in today's industry, do you think agents are becoming more like brand strategists, than just booking talent? Like, why or why not?
I do think that the brand aspect of everything is very important. Yeah, we are strategists in a way, and aligning our bookings with the brands, like I touched on before, is very important and part of protecting the business. So I would say in a way, we wear many hats as an agent. I wouldn't just say I'm an agent. Sometimes I'm called a manager. Sometimes I'm called PR, but do a little bit of everything. But I would say, yeah, as social media not becomes is a very big part of an artist's career, how brands extra funding is very important for an artist's career. Yeah, we're very focused on brand strategy for the artist.
Got it. So essentially, the takeaway really is that the role has shifted somewhat. You're somewhat of an operator in a sense, like, right? So like,
I like to say like a puppeteer, like there's a little bit of everything around us that we kind of have to put together, or it's like I have an idea and I literally have to build it from scratch and build it up. That's really what a tour is. And artists is like, well, I want to do this, and okay, well, how do we do it? And we put all the pieces together. I oversee everybody's job, all the different positions, and
wow.
bring a vision to life,
You're
really.
like you're in a way you're almost like a fractional CEO.
Yeah,
Because that's
basically.
because that's really what
Add that to the
CEOs.
list of titles.
Yes, exactly. And that's what CEOs do. They kind of like manage different bucket. Like I look at them like little buckets, but they're departments. So they'll manage like a sales department. They'll manage like if there's merchandising, they'll manage if there's marketing, they'll manage over if there's publicity, like different things. And so you're like a fractional CEO for an artist. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You could run a company someday, like a big company, like like that's pretty cool. So
Right,
you've
right.
seen artists at different stages. What's the biggest mistake rising artists make when trying to get booked?
The biggest mistake a rising artist makes when they're trying to get booked would be what I like to call a punisher. A punisher is an artist or somebody that is sending a book-long email over and over and over again, or sending the same DM copy and paste over and over and over again. I don't even open those. They go straight to the trash. And I know a lot of other people in the industry can attest to that. I want to see value. You have to provide value to get value. There are thousands and thousands of artists that are trying to get a hold of me every single day and everybody else in the industry every single day. What sets you apart? Don't be just another annoying fly on the wall. Please don't be that. Like, you need to literally keep a short email. I sold this many tickets in my hometown. I have this many streams. I have this going on. Show your stats. Create an EPK, a one sheet, short and sweet. Provide value to get value. Show face, show up. What is going to make me remember you? You know, the the girlfriend never really remembers the flowers you get her on Valentine's Day, but she always remembers the flowers you get for her on that random Wednesday when she wasn't expecting it. You know what I'm saying? What is that person
I
going
like
to
that.
remember you by? Get them to remember you and the after fact. Don't just be another email in their inbox. Don't just be another annoying artist trying to get booked that doesn't provide any value to me.
Doesn't
You
have any
know,
traction, doesn't have any, yeah, like is in the wrong part of delusion,
Yes,
maybe.
the wrong part of illusion. Correct. You
That's
have to
right.
be a little bit more realistic with things like that. So
That's right.
it might be a little hard truth for some people. It might seem a little bit rough, but at the end of the day, that's the reality of it. Like, you might think people are reading these emails. You're wasting your time.
Yeah. So you guys don't go flooding Ashley's inbox, punishing her with your long texts that mean nothing. Please, please don't do that. Just add the value, do the work, and the work will speak for itself. So
Absolutely.
if you had to build an artist from zero today, what would you do in the first 90 days? And what would that look like? No fluff, just execution.
I would start with the storytelling piece. What story are you trying to tell as an artist? I think a lot of people neglect that early on and they just try to be what their artist idols are like, right? So they try to mimic or copy, or, like with a rapper, they want to have the strippers in the music videos and the flashy chains and the cars and flashing money. That's not going to separates you from the rest? What story are you telling with your music? Who are you as a brand? There's that word again. What is your authenticity? How are you going to relate to your fans and build that story from the beginning, and just put out as much content as possible?
That's right. That's right. That's another real key, and that's interesting to really see that. It's almost feels like a transferable skill when I'm hearing this, because I'm hearing the same thing from like other management. And you're not really a manager; you're an agent, right? Like for touring, but telling that story, like the authenticity of telling that story and then making it believable, right? And then I hear a lot of that, like people, like it's almost like what I hear. I hear that it's almost like if you're a broke struggling artist, it's almost like an advantage for you than caring to try to like put on a bunch of fake chains and jewelry and promote yourself like that, because more people are broke and more people are struggling, so you actually have a better connection,
Yeah.
and so
I
and
I had
yeah.
the pleasure. I had the pleasure of being Sexy Red's first booking agent and worked with her for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
And one thing that was a real truth that people couldn't deny about Sexy is that she was so relatable to so many people.
Mm,
Like they call her the hood hottest princess for a reason.
mm,
Like there are so many people like that can relate to her, that she's just real, raw, authentic, and that's what won. We really analyzed who her fan base was, targeted them, and gave the fans what they wanted, and that's
right.
that's so super important is, an artist being authentic and real to themselves and showing and connecting to those fans because at the end of the day, as a fan, you just want to be able to relate to the music that makes you feel something, right? And you want to relate to that artist that's behind that music. So, um, the more the fans can relate to you and connect to you, because music is an emotional thing, right? It's personal. So the more that a fan can relate to that artist, the more they're going to win.
Amazing. Great advice. I love that. So, closing out here, what legacy do you want to leave in live music? Not just the deals you've closed, but the impact you've made at a scale. Talk about that.
That's a great question. I always like to say my goal is to have the most people at my funeral.
Oh, wow.
I want to be known and most loved as somebody that did great business, was a good person, and um, just always fought for the culture and the artists and what's right. That's what I want to be known by, and that's the legacy I want to leave behind.
Most loved. I like that. It made me want to put it on a t-shirt. I put stuff on t-shirts.
Right,
Yes.
right. That's a good. Let's do
Ashley,
that. Okay.
that's right. Most loved. We're gonna make that. So Ashley, so grateful for you being here on the Power Play. You can listen on iHeartRadio.com. We had the one and only Ashley Ventura from Cara Lewis Group on our podcast. It's just so incredible. Until next time, thanks so much for having you.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.